The Hale Telescope began scientific operation in 1949 and was widely viewed as the world's most prominent astronomical facility for the next 45 years. The Hale has a moving mass of 530 tons and is enclosed in a dome with a moving mass of over 1,000 tons. Motions of these massive structures are controlled to the exacting tolerances necessary to collect and direct incident starlight into a diverse instrument suite that makes measurements in visible, ultraviolet, and near-infrared light. The telescope is in a so-called equatorial mount. The telescope mount outer axis is aligned with Earth's rotational or north polar axis. Motion of this outer structure allows the telescope to view sources east and west of Palomar and track them as they appear to move east to west across the sky with Earth's rotation. Astronomers call this direction right ascension. Supporting the telescope's 530 tons in the right ascension structure are a set of pressurized oil bearings. During operation, the telescope literally rides on a thin layer of oil with no mechanical contact to the underlying foundation. The inner telescope truss holds the telescope optics and instrumentation. This truss mass is roughly 100 tons and is supported on mounts that allow the telescope to point north and south of Palomar's latitude along what astronomers call declination. This declination truss is supported with a large set of roller bearings and spokes that both look and function like a familiar bicycle wheel. The surrounding dome has a slit that opens to expose the telescope to the night sky and can rotate in azimuth on a set of rails and wheels reminiscent of railroad construction. Sophisticated control mechanisms coordinate telescope and dome motions during astronomical observations. The main telescope optics are all reflective, curved mirrors that use aluminum on their front surfaces to direct incident starlight into instruments at three different telescope foci. The 200-inch, 5.1-meter primary mirror weighs roughly 14 tons and is cradled in a protective steel cell bolted to the bottom of the telescope tube. Larger instruments that often separate incident light into its constituent colors, spectroscopy, are typically mounted below the primary mirror cell at the so-called Cassegrain telescope focus. Smaller imaging cameras can be mounted at the top of the telescope tube at the so-called primary telescope focus. Astronomers rarely look through the Hale telescope, but instead control and collect data with these instruments from the safety and comfort of the nearby data room, just behind the visitor gallery south wall.